I would like to welcome you to Talk to Experts Tuesday. My name is Sue Macaluso, and I am the Senior Community Specialist on the Customer Marketing Community Team. That's a mouthful. Today's topic is ClickSense, so ask any questions around ClickSense. With me, I have Jamie, and I just went blank. Jamie, I just went blank on your last name. I have Jamie and team with me on the phone, and I'm going to actually turn over the call to Jamie, and she will go over sort of the guidelines for today's call. And also on the screen, you'll see a few slides with just some of the rules and regulations that we have. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jamie.
Perfect. Thank you, Sue. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk to Experts Tuesday. This is a series that allows us here at Qlik to connect with all of you. Each session, we will have a different topic with subject matter experts on the call. We will use this time to field your questions, share some resources, and hopefully demonstrate a few things within the product. So if you're new to this session, everyone is muted, so please use the Q&A panel to ask your questions. You should see it at the bottom of the Zoom webinar. We won't be responding back within this panel per se, but we are going to try to get to everyone's questions live today. So if we don't get to your question or it's something that may take some time to research, it will be posted in the Qlik community along with the recording, and I will show you guys where that is at a little bit later. So please keep in mind, even though that we are within Qlik support, we will not be able to answer any specific questions regarding a case or anything like that. And we do ask that you keep the questions at the topic at hand. And like Sue said, today is a session on ClickSense, and it is a general session. It's a little bit different than what we've done in the past. So whether you're on ClickSense Enterprise, on-premise, or in the cloud using ClickSense Enterprise SaaS or ClickSense Business, just let us know what kind of questions you have, again, using the Q&A panel below. We also don't have a product manager on the call today, so we won't be able to let you know what's coming in the product, but we do have the best of the best here to help you get started, maybe troubleshooting a ClickSense issue, or if you have a license question, or just a general question on ClickSense. We can help with those kinds of questions. So while we wait for all of you to enter in your questions, I would like to take the time to introduce our panel for the day. With me, I have Andrew Delaney, Principal Technical Support Engineer, Sebastian Linzer, Senior Technical Support Engineer, and George Thomas, Customer Support Analyst. Andrew, can you go ahead and please introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm a Principal Support Engineer. I've been working here at Qlik for the last 5 years now. And I deal mostly with ClickSense Enterprise on Windows and mostly with kind of back-end and performance problems there.
Awesome. Sebastian, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, so as Jamie already mentioned, my name is Sebastian. I'm also working at Qlik as a Senior Technical Support Engineer. I'm with Qlik now for 3 years, and as Andrew, I focus mostly on the back end, so it's mainly infrastructure and deployment questions, which are my best topics.
Perfect, great, thank you. And George.
Hello, I'm George. I'm Customer Support Analyst, basically focusing mainly on kind of our SaaS products, getting you guys started and kind of getting good to go on a SaaS and cloud products. So kind of there on the front lines, the first person you'll see.
Perfect, great, thank you. So my name is Jamie Gregory, and I am a Technical Support Engineer here at Qlik. I've been here for about 3 years, and I'm located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this year I've primarily focused on the support updates blog. So if you're out in the Qlik community, you may have seen that blog before. I do a lot of those posts, and I also work on these sessions. So one more thing, if you've joined us for a ClickSense session in the past, you might have realized that Adam Sawyer is not on the call today. He is unfortunately feeling a bit under the weather. We will do your best though. He is our SaaS expert. So we will do our best to get your questions answered, but if we can't answer them, we will definitely pass them along to him. So don't be shy to ask your questions still. We still want you to ask those ClickSense SaaS questions. We just might not be able to answer them, but we will do our best. So again, just enter your questions in the Q&A panel below. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's see. First question I have is, how can I use Web Connector to connect multiple Excel workbooks on SharePoint to ClickSense? I've tried, and when I do, only the data in the first workbook connected shows, and the others appear as if they are connected, but I don't see the data after loading the data. Do either of you have any idea about that one? So they're using the Web Connector to connect to multiple Excel workbooks on SharePoint, but they only see the data in the first workbook.
So, I mean, the thing I want to make sure there is, might need to set up multiple connectors, one for each workbook. I have to admit, I don't use the web connectors that often, so it's not really my area.
Okay, no problem. I have to admit it's been a while since I've used them as well, but it's definitely something that we can probably take offline. And if we need to ask someone else, we will do that. So this will be a question that we will make sure we answer in our FAQ. And so I will show you guys where that will be posted. Let me show you my screen. I'll just take this time right now just to show you guys. Man. All right, let's see. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So here under support programs, we have this Talk to Experts Tuesday section. And if I pull that up, you'll see the current or upcoming events. Here's today, or no, it's already passed under the past events. Our next session is right here. Here under past events, we do post the recording as well as the transcripts, and I'll just show you one really quickly. You'll see links in here for like the FAQ. So that's where one place where you can find the FAQ. You can also go back here to support programs and then support knowledge base. And then you can just search the knowledge base for FAQ or ClickSense FAQ, and it will appear in the results here. So you'll see all of our FAQs right now, but that's another way to search for it. And so we'll get the answer to that question in the FAQ for you. All right, so the next question. I use the SelfService Portal to create my own reports in ClickSense. I was told internally that I can control who has access, but I haven't seen the feature that allows this. If I can have someone show me, that would be very much appreciated.
All right, so this one gets a bit tricky to discuss because you're dealing with access control, and it really depends on how things have been configured. So, and also what you mean by reports, right? So if by reports you mean a sheet that you have created within another application, then you should be able to right-click and share that sheet. However, that is sharing it with other people that have access to the application. It doesn't let you control precisely who has access. So it's publishing a sheet to community there. If you're talking about an application that you built, then it depends on whether you are in ClickSense Cloud or you are or ClickSense Enterprise, ClickSense Business, ClickSense Enterprise SaaS, or ClickSense Enterprise for Windows. Their access to these things are controlled either by streams or by spaces. So on Windows, they're controlled by streams. You publish to a stream. This is all done through the management console, and likely as an end user, you do not have access, and you would need to actually talk to an administrator about that. It may be different in cloud. Unfortunately, we really need to know a bit more information as to what you mean to be able to properly show you here.
Perfect. Yep, that's very true. We would probably just need to know what you're on specifically, what you're using, and exactly what you want to share. Like Andrew said, if it's a sheet or if it's the app or maybe even just a visualization, there's a lot of different ways that you can share things now. And so we would just need a little bit more information on what exactly you want to share.
Just to add on that and kind of advertise our help site, it can be broken down into the product that you're using. And then from there, you can look at how to manage your users, manage your apps and stuff like that to kind of get an instant answer if you can.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, George. All right. So let's see. What are the main differences between ClickSense Enterprise SaaS and ClickSense Business?
I believe that our help page has some summaries on that as well.
But also a pricing page. I can put a link to it or pull it up right now, and it shows kind of a
can you share that?
Of what each is. Just 1 second while I find that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, perfect. Sebastian put the link in the chat for everybody.
Is it? I might have to put it for attendees as well. So just give me a moment. Now it is. So this site will show the main differences between those editions we have. I took the one for November 2020 since it's the latest.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and share it so everyone can see it. So the chat has the link that we're on right now. So this is different editions of ClickSense.
But I mean, broadly speaking, the difference is to do with the size of applications that you can have in your environment, and I believe access as well. Identity providers.
Yep. And there's also this site. So this is qlik.com/pricing, and it gives a detailed description of both of them. So ClickSense Business is over here, ClickSense Enterprise SaaS over here. And then if you do compare product features, it kind of shows you exactly, what's the difference. So SaaS has the data alerts and the more shared spaces, and then like Andrew was saying, the app size limit and memory and things like that, and managed spaces. And so you can continue to expand all the features and just get a sense of what the difference is completely. George, did you have anything to add?
Nope, that was the page I was pulling up, and that's kind of what a good starting one to start with.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat as well for everybody. And so you guys all have access to that. I mean, I guess from my perspective, I would say that ClickSense Business is a little bit lightweight. So if you only have like a few users, you would want to go with ClickSense Business. If you have more users, you're probably going to want to look at ClickSense Enterprise SaaS. For the most part, same features, just a couple differences as you saw in the pricing sheet. But ClickSense Business is just a little bit more lightweight. Like I said, if you have less users, like I think it's like 5 to 10 or something like that on the lower end, you want to go with ClickSense Business versus ClickSense Enterprise SaaS. But also too, there is the chat bot down here. You can reach out to sales and they can help you figure out exactly what you need or you're looking for. Perfect. All right, let's see. Next question. Along the same lines, are there any particular differences in managing third-party extension objects between the SaaS editions of ClickSense Business and ClickSense Enterprise SaaS? I don't think there is. I think that it's all in the same place.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm not even logged into my SaaS environment. What am I doing? Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. I have every other site up but my SaaS environment right now. There we go. So you just go here, and then I believe it's under administration, and then extensions. And then you can just add your extensions in here. And it should be the same between ClickSense Business and ClickSense SaaS.
Mm-hmm. Just be aware that depending on your extension, it may consume more memory. Your limits as to memory in business are lower. So most of the time it's not going to be an issue, but you could run into a limitation there.
Yep, that's an excellent point. Thank you. All right, let's see. I have to move my things around, sorry. Let's see. How can we optimize the performance of our ClickSense environment?
All right, so there is, so that's a very broad question. So unfortunately, you're going to end up with a very broad answer. There is a thing called the ClickSense Admin Playbook that has been put together by our consultants that I will just share on the screen right now. So let me just make sure I am sharing the correct screen. So you can see over here, this is about administering a system and trying to make sure that your environment is being managed properly. And when it comes to performance, it's really about making sure that your environment is managed, that you're making sure that you aren't letting users create applications that are bigger than your environment can sustain, that you're managing the number of users. So what this does is this sets up a variety of different tasks that you can do. And so this is, so on that, making sure that users aren't creating particularly problematic apps. Here's a procedure for reviewing expensive objects. So those are objects that take a long time to render. They use a lot of resources. So if you suddenly see one of these spike up, that's something that you will want to reach out to the developer and say, hey, look, something's gone wrong here. You're consuming more resources than we can really sustain. So there's a whole variety of things here. There's reviewing your node health. There's reviewing your tasks, how many tasks you've got, how frequently they run, how frequently they fail. So if you have a whole lot of tasks that just start and fail because the data source isn't available or the application isn't set up properly, then you're wasting your system resources. And this is also mentions looking at your applications, but also looking at the operations monitors to review performance, review resource consumption. So that should let you know if you're starting to run into resource constraints, making sure you've got enough resources available. And yeah, so this is a really useful resource. It's something that I think is very important for administrators to know about and to look through. And in particular, there are things that you should do that ClickSense won't really prompt you to do by itself. And that's about kind of performing spring cleaning kind of operations, right? So getting rid of tasks that aren't being used, getting rid of data connections that aren't being used. The system won't clean up after itself. So you do need to go in and make sure that if someone has a project that they set up some time ago and they no longer need, that it doesn't hang around unnecessarily, consuming resources.
And that's a great point, Andrew. I know even in my own environments, when I'm testing things, I have so many data connections and I never go through and clean them out. So that's a really good point that you want to get those removed if possible. I do have another question for probably you, Andrew and Sebastian. Do you guys know if the Analyze App Metadata Analyzer is available for on-prem now?
Yes, I believe it is. So if we go over here. Yeah, it's been, the endpoints have been available since June 2018.
Okay.
So,
So that's another great resource if you're looking for another way to kind of clean up your environment or your apps, see what's consuming the most memory. It's another great tool that's out there. We do have another question for tips. It's a general question again. It's tips and tricks for app efficiency. And this is something that I would recommend is going here's the admin playbook and taking a look at what Andrew just shared with you, as well as the app analyzer, and just take a look at those tools, because that will help you kind of weed out anything that could be causing a performance issue or have an impact on performance as far as efficiency for apps. Something else. Did you have anything to add on that, Andrew?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I do. So the app metadata analyzer is now also included in the default apps, at least in November 2020. So.
Oh, awesome. I did not know that. So that's pretty cool. So you already have it. And so you can just go and take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well, just for a couple of other things that we can show you, or at least one. If you go to our help, and say if you're on like ClickSense on Windows, you can go to ClickSense on Windows. But if you just search best practice, to make sure I spell that right, there's a lot of great resources here for best practices on data modeling, for managing data, there's one here for optimizing app performance. And then there's also one for visualization. So depending on what kind of tips that you're looking for, on what specifically, whether it is the visualizations or it is more along the lines of app performance, you can definitely take a look at these resources as well. Again, just searching the help. I just went to documentation, ClickSense on Windows, and then search for best practices, and it will just search within that topic. You could also do the same for SaaS editions of ClickSense if you're on the SaaS editions, but it just gives you some general guidance. In support, we don't do a whole lot with development, so we may not be the best resource for that, but you can definitely take a look on here, and then obviously you can go to the Qlik community. If you go to the Qlik community under data analytics forums and then ClickSense, there is app development here, so you can post your questions as well for a free resource and use your peers to ask specific questions, and they can definitely help with that. All right, so let's see, what other questions do we have coming in? I'm not sure if we can help with this one. In an environment where I have ClickView Server and ClickView Publisher and ClickSense Client Managed, I would like to know how I can trigger a task in ClickView Publisher from ClickSense. Do you guys know any? Is that even possible?
Not within the default features of either product. It's definitely possible to set up some sort of integration that would do that, where you'd either monitor for the task to enter as completed or something like that, and then use the API to trigger a task in ClickView, but there's nothing you can do. Nothing within the product itself. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I hope that kind of helps a little bit. If you have more questions, just let us know. We can try to help. Like I said, if we can't get to your, don't know the answer, we can try to ask around as well to try to get you a more precise answer. So let's see. Is it necessary to have at least one professional license in Qlik Cloud environment, like Windows environment, or is it possible to have only analyzer license?
You
So-
definitely go on, Andrew.
So, I mean, it doesn't really make much sense to have a ClickSense environment with no professional users. How are you going to create your applications for your analyzer users to consume? Keeping in mind that even if you are developing your applications on ClickSense on Windows and you've got a hybrid deployment which uploads them, you're using the same license on both environments. So you've got the same capacity on each. So it really does, like, I don't know if you can actually order a license without a professional user, but it doesn't make sense to do it, even if you can.
You cannot order it. So yeah, you'll at least need one. Usually with ClickSense Enterprise, it's going to be around 5, but there have been cases of 1. So, but you definitely need one professional user, as Andrew's saying.
And that makes sense. Like Andrew said, if you need that professional license to either create the apps or even probably to schedule reloads and things like that. So you definitely need at least one professional license. All right. When you make a new data connection in ClickSense Enterprise, the username of the person making the connection is automatically in the connection name. I always go to the QMC to change the connection name and remove the username. How can I avoid this step, and why is the username always in the connection name? Is there a reason to keep the username in the connection?
So the reason for it being there is because you generate a local connection, which should be with your app first. And then once the app is going to be published, you would change this so that it gets a more general connection. I can quickly share my screen to.
Yeah. It also avoids conflicts, right? I mean, you may not be able to see that there is another connection named test connection 1, but and if it exists and you can't use it, you could get strange error messages. So if you just add a username, you avoid that collision.
Yeah. And that is basically what he was talking about. So if I would add a test folder here, I'm logged in as domain administrator. So you see this one gets added to my connection string. And if I go into the QMC, I unfortunately have then to change this here, take this one out. Then I would in the same time, for example, put it to as a repository if I now want some task in the background to load, so that everything is also set up according to the rights the service task should have. For file, I think this is probably a bad idea, but it was just to give you a short example.
Yep, thank you, Sebastian. Yeah, I think that answers the question. That was great. Thank you. Can you authenticate ClickSense Desktop against SaaS editions of ClickSense?
Yes.
Go ahead. Sure.
Yes, you can, just by logging into your ClickSense tenant, or I think it's even your MyClick, or no, it's your ClickSense tenant, and then you can do it through there. I can show it
really quick.
Yeah, you show it on your end because mine's not pulled up yet.
Let me go back to the hub. If you go here under settings, just scroll down. There is this option here for ClickSense Desktop. You can download the latest version of ClickSense Desktop, and then once it's installed, you come back here and you click Authenticate, and it'll open up ClickSense. It'll pop up this message: Open ClickSense browser. Open. You just click the button there, and then it'll pop up your ClickSense Desktop. I believe I have it installed. Might just take a second here. And then it'll give you this authentication link here that you can log into your SaaS tenant, and it'll authenticate for you. All right, so let's see. I'm looking for the feature called Exploring as available in June 2017 release in the Smart Search. It showed all existing visualizations using the search term. This were field names or names of visualization. Insights is not the same. You should still be able to search. Do you guys know?
I can't say I do. Sorry.
Okay. We might have to take that one offline. I believe it looks like this person shared the community link, so I'll take a look at that. I thought you could still search for everything, so let me just double check that. I fortunately don't have a QlikSense environment that is working right now. All of my VApps are kind of, well, my VApps in general, just the tool doesn't work right now. So let me take that one offline, and I will get an answer for you in the FAQ for sure. And so let's see. Since QlikSense Desktop is no longer free, we have tried to set up authentication against QlikSense Enterprise Server, but we continue to see this error, fail to authenticate against the selected server. Any tips to help troubleshoot? I want to say for this error message, you'll want to take a look at the version of QlikSense Desktop that you have. You also want to make sure that your user type is a professional user. I don't believe Analyzer type will work, but take a look at your desktop version if you need to. There are a couple posts in the support blogs where we did have issues with the desktop versions and then trying to authenticate. So if you go to support updates blog and then search, you can probably just search desktop. And so there was some issues with like the June 2020 version. Let me see if this one has the steps.
Also, there is a support article specifically about this error message. So
Okay.
I'd take a look at that first and run through that. Often,
take a look.
apparently, it is, I put a link in the chat.
Perfect.
Often it's related to firewalls or network proxies. So that's what the article gives you instructions on checking. So you can verify that those are in place.
And if you check all those and are still having the issue, just feel free to create a support ticket and reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys out.
There might be a couple of articles on it. So I'm not sure if this is the link. Let me just pull the link up that you sent everybody.
I mean, what I did is I searched for the error message, failed to authenticate against a selected server. And for me, at least, it was the first hit on Google. So
yeah, you can use Google. I was showing how to search in the Qlik community under the support knowledge base, but definitely you can use Google to search. I'm sorry, this light keeps going right in the middle of my face. I can't move away from it. So here, yes, it does say the issue is usually caused by a network connectivity problem, and here are some common ways to troubleshoot that. So you can take a look at this article, like Andrew said, and if you're still having issues like George said, you can reach out to support and we can try to help a little bit more. Hopefully this will help get you started. Additional advice, run an update to the QlikSense desktop. Make sure you're using the latest version. And like I said, make sure you do have the correct license type as well.
hopefully that would give you a different error message.
Yes, hopefully. Is there a QlikSense cloud environment available for technology partners? We only have the one, ClickSense Business and ClickSense SaaS. I don't know of any special instances for any of our partners. If there's something that you were looking for in particular, I would definitely let us know. If you wanted to reach out to your partner manager, or maybe in the partner portal, you could probably just log a ticket or something like that. If there's something that you're looking for in particular, I would definitely kind of make your voice heard and let us know. Let's see. So kind of back to that professional license and analyzer license, I did clarify for only analyzer license, I mean that I develop app in Windows environment with professional license, but I install it on the cloud for a customer, which they have another license that doesn't need to develop, but only analyze them. But like George said, it does look like you can only purchase a professional license, or you have to have at least one in the environment. So I think that person will still have to have a professional license, and or if you wanted them to just be able to consume the app, you might need to get them an analyzer license. If you're the one that's like uploading the app and maybe doing data connections and things like that, like I think you would have the professional license and then the customer would have the analyzer license, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you still need that professional license for the upload and initial configuration of the application and setting up reloads. So
I don't know that we'll be able to help with this question, but they have a variable set the year equals max year. And if they change the year in the app in the filter, the variable changes the year as well. How can I exclude the filters from setting this variable that I always get the max year regardless of the selection?
Right. So that is where you don't use a variable, you use sets. And they use curly brackets. And basically, I've only got fairly rudimentary knowledge of them myself. But that's what you want to do, is you want to have the object where you are trying to refer to that max year, I believe, be specifically making that selection of max year. Yeah.
So you'd probably
want it to be a set expression.
Use, set analysis and set expressions. If you take a look here at the help menu or at the help, yep. Thank you for posting that, Sebastian. They actually, let's. Can you set that to all panelists and attendees?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So he did post it in the chat, so you can come here and it should help you. It does provide great examples. Like I think basically this is what you would want to be using right here. Should be, oh look, a cat. Sorry, squirrel, but cat. So you would just want to be using this expression here, this example that should help you get what you need, I think. If that doesn't help, I would recommend a couple things. We don't do a whole lot of development in support. So you would want to go to Qlik Community again and take a look at data analytics, ClickSense, and then probably app development. And someone will be able to help you there for sure. We do have a lot of great developers out in the Qlik community, and they are very eager to help. So you can always go there and ask your question. If you're looking for, a little bit, more learning a little bit more, you might want to reach out to your account manager, just because they probably have some classes out there, some trainings out there that can help with that app development knowledge, or set you up with a consultant that can, help teach you a few things. So those are a few options that you have. So hopefully, sorry, that is very cute, that cat. So hopefully that will help If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just take a look at Andrew Delaney and his cat that is in his lap and his tail that's in his face. It's very cute. All right, next question. Where can I find the most useful documentation for configuring hardware server Windows capacity?
That should be in community, I believe.
Click through scalability, and then just for Sense, right? So I have the link for ClickView, but I just need to find the one for Sense.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. Yeah. So I will put the link in here. If you want, Jamie, you can bring it up on screen. Sure. Otherwise, I can.
It's
that is basically where the product team does tests on some hardware. And you have also tools for testing your own server against some stress loads and so on. Yeah, and now you see in a second what I'm talking about. So the first link there is some configurations they have tested, and then give you some guidance in what you should use and what you should avoid as CPUs or memory, and also saying that only putting more memory in a system might not be the efficient way. You might want to do a more specific setup on your system to get the best performance. And then down there with the scalability tools, you can basically do some load testing. So you can simulate users going onto the system, opening documents, doing selections. You would see how your engine is performing while doing those tests.
Perfect, thank you. And we do have a comment. Andrew, let me know when ClickSense for cats will be released, please. Coming soon. All right, so if anyone has any questions, we are about 18 minutes to the top of the hour, so make sure you're getting your questions in using the Q&A panel. We still have a few more to go, so we will continue on. But again, just a reminder, use the Q&A panel below to get your questions in. You guys have had some really awesome questions, and I hope you're finding this session helpful. Let's see. We'll see if we can answer this one. Is there any possibility that you're going to adapt the Streams on-premise hub so it will be like the cloud hub? It would be very much appreciated by us and probably by others. Do you guys know?
That's a question for product management.
So like I said, we don't have anyone from product management on here. Sorry about that. But I can show you where to go. So if you are on the Qlik community and you go down here to product insights or insight and ideas, and then click on ideas.
If you can see ideas internal only, let us know.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You can go ahead and search here for your idea. So you could search for like the on-premise hub or something like that. If you don't see anything, you can definitely enter the request here. This does go straight to our product managers, and they do evaluate these, I believe, on like a bi-weekly basis. So if you're looking for something specific, put as much information in there as possible so that they know exactly what you want. And then you can also vote on ideas. You can give them likes, and you can also make comments. So that does help our product managers know what you would like in the product. So I would definitely recommend doing this. If it's something that's already in the works, they'll let you know. And if not, they can hopefully, take a look at it and see if it's something that can be added. All right, so I am receiving an installation error when I try to install ClickSense Enterprise. It is failing at the dispatcher service. How can I go about troubleshooting this issue?
So yeah, Sebastian, you go. You're better at this than me.
Yeah. I would check the installation logs, which we had. So now I just.
So for reference, the installation logs are found in your temporary folder, and that's the temporary folder of the user that does the installation. The fastest way to get at that, while Sebastian's loading one up, is to, in Windows Explorer, type %temp%, and that will take you to a subdirectory in your temp folder, and you go up one level, and you'll get to where the actual logs are.
Exactly. So otherwise, it's always the local temp folder of the user you installed with. So in my case, as before, I installed with administrator domain, and then you end up here. So you see, right before the session today, I installed November 2020. This unfortunately went fine, so there is nothing to show, but I prepared something with a dispatcher here. So this one was failing, and here we have another one with Postgres, but let us first go to the dispatcher one, because these are the worst logs in regards to size. They can be up to 250 megabyte huge, and you really want to search what you need to search there to find
We have
the
got
right
better
output.
and more recent versions, which you could see in the folder that Sebastian had shared there. It was only 100 megabytes, but it's still pretty ridiculously big.
Yes.
So yeah.
And some of you might always search for 1603, which is some error getting logged from the MSI component, but that is not always the end where ClickSense would decide I run back and stop the installation and do a rollback. You have to search for the value tree, which I marked here. So value space tree is the search term. And when you search this, you then go up and you will see where it ended. So here in this particular case, we saw there was some custom action triggered, a setup of the QSMQ database, and this one failed because there was a relation which it wanted to create which already existed. So if you come to those kind of errors, always open a support ticket, because that is something we need to help you with. Don't try anything on your own. You will end up in more problems than what you have.
You may be able to
show-
find something in the knowledge base, but yeah, I agree. Support
Yes,
ticket
so
is great.
you can always search the error in the knowledge base, but it might be a dirty workaround for the dispatcher. It's better to get something solid when you contact us if you don't find anything. If you check in the normal installation log, and you would see here the percentage going up. So that's the main log which has no service at the end. And then you see suddenly Postgres failed installing. You would see, okay, I need to check more on the Postgres log. Here I again search for the value tree line, and I see there is another custom action running here, validate shared folders. And you can see that up there, this shared folder for the test here, that was an Azure file share, wasn't really working with this version when you authenticated against the user and password. So then it would directly say you don't have permission to write to this folder. And in this case here, of course, you could just try to use another folder, see if the installation works. That's an easy thing to fix. But this here gives some kind of clear instructions, whereas the other one is a little bit more tricky.
Jamie, you're muted, or your microphone's not going at the very least.
Oh, yes, I was muted. It wasn't showing up. I was muted, but I was muted. Fancy that. Thank you, Sebastian. So like you were saying, if you have an installation issue, you definitely, that is a neat little trick, that value 3. It's something that's used in support all the time. Searching through the logs, look for value 3. The error message that pertains to the issue should be just above that. And then you can either search the knowledge base for that error message, or you can definitely open up a ticket if you need assistance with that, because that installation issues can be a little bit tricky. And Sebastian, he will come running to you to help.
Yes.
He loves installation issues.
Sadly, the log files are not great. and unfortunately unlikely to be significantly improved. It's to do with what we use to package the installation. It just doesn't make nice logs.
Thank you. All right, let's see. About 10 minutes left. So next question, is it possible to configure Nginx reverse proxy for user authentication?
Probably.
It
So
might be an Adam question.
yeah, so I mean, it's not a support related question in that it's possible to set up a third-party reverse proxy to cover many different things. You can set up your system to authenticate in different ways. By default, obviously, it just passes authentication over to Windows. And then on Windows, I should say, it passes the authentication over to Windows. And then the Windows server itself performs that authentication check. It's possible to change that. However, for specifically how you would do it with Nginx is not something that we have documentation for. So.
Right on. So I would, you could probably check on the community, maybe search community or just do a Google search for Nginx with authentication for ClickSense. See if there's anything out there. Otherwise, we would probably have to recommend reaching out to your account manager, and they can get you set up with like a consultant or professional services, and they might be able to help set that up for you, if you need help with that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, let's see. Next question. Entered that one. So I have .NET Framework 4.8 installed on my server. Is it compatible with ClickSense Enterprise? If not, what version do I need?
So 4.7.2 is what you want at the moment. From the February release onwards, it'll be 4.8. I can't say whether or not you're going to run into problems with 4.8 installed. I honestly, I don't know. I haven't personally run across a case on that, but I know that you will need it from February 2020, unless things change. But when we're talking about pre-release software, all I can say is what the current expectation is. This is all potentially subject to change. But the expectation is that 4.8 will be used in our product and in our installer then. And if you don't have 4.8, the installer will add it. But having 4.8 already present on the server will make the install take less time. So.
Perfect. Yeah, and along with that, we will let everyone know when 4.8 is supported. Just check the support updates blog, or just keep a lookout on the support updates blog coming in January, February timeframe. We will let everyone know when that is supported officially on our end, or at least recommended for the installation of the product. All right. Next question. I do not have the ability to update my ClickSense business subscription to analyzer capacity. I believe they're talking about the new update where you can upgrade your subscription. So if I must contact sales to do this, do I need to start all over again? For example, download all the apps and create a new tenant. I'd prefer to avoid this if possible.
I can speak on this. So luckily we do have ability to upgrade now from ClickSense Business to ClickSense Enterprise. There still are a few limitations that will be solved in the next coming months, but currently it depends how you originally purchased your ClickSense Business account. If you purchased it digitally, meaning with your credit card, then your only way to upgrade if you want to keep kind of that same subscription is to do it digitally and go through the purchase process digitally, which unfortunately does not include ClickSense Analyzer in the purchase as of right now. If you did it through sales, if you purchase ClickSense Business through sales, then you just can contact your account manager and they should be able to go through the process and be able to add ClickSense. analyzer capacity licenses. So it just depends on how you originally purchased it as of right now. This is to change in the future, but currently you may have to start a whole new subscription in order to get the capacity licenses.
Gotcha. So if it's, you know, like George said, it should be coming soon. We don't know exactly when, but if you can hold off, if that's what you need and you purchased digitally, you may just want to hold off if that's possible until you can do that. Otherwise, if you purchase through sales, go ahead and contact them and they can help you out. All right. We have just a few more minutes. So if there are any last minute questions, please use the Q&A panel below to get those in. Let's see. What is the Inside Advisor chat and how do I get access to it? I can actually share on that one. Let me
Yeah. That's built in November 2020, right?
Yep. So it depends on what platform you're on. Like I said, I only have access right now to, let me see if I can find it. I can't see the top. Where did my, oh, there we go. So if you're in SaaS or if you're in ClickSense Business, you will see this icon at the top or this button at the top. It's Ask Inside Advisor. Basically, it is, it's our conversation analytics tool. So you can ask it questions and it can give you suggestions on like what to look at, like which apps to look at, which it'll pull up measures, dimensions, things of that nature. So you can ask it a question like, what are my sales for 2019? And it'll pull up the app and then you can click on the app and it'll take you through that. And you can, it'll help you answer some of the questions where you don't have to like just kind of guess which app to go into or which sheet to go into. It'll kind of pull it up for you. There are some great pieces of information out there. Let me show you guys, if you're in the Qlik community and you go to blogs, you might have to click on it twice. It'll pull up. So these are other blogs throughout the company itself. There is this Qlik product innovation blog here. And so this is from our marketing team. And when a new release comes out, they do a really great job at kind of writing everything up that's available. And then they also create videos. So they'll show you what's new in the release. And so this was, like Andrew said, available in November 2020 on both ClickSense Enterprise on Windows and ClickSense SaaS. So you can come here, you can see an overview of what's happening. And then if you scroll down just a little bit more, there's actually a longer demo. And so you should be able to see it in action in this demo as well. So if you are looking for that feature and you're on Enterprise, definitely take a look at ClickSense November 2020 release. Make sure you install it into a test or QA environment first instead of production, but just check everything out and let us know what you think. All right, let's see. So we are pretty much at the top of the hour. Thank you, oh, let me see, we have maybe one more question. Oh, someone said thank you. All right, great, you're welcome. So that is it for today. We do appreciate everyone joining us. I hope everyone found this hour helpful. I think we got to most of the questions, but if we didn't get to anything, I think there's a couple we need to follow up on. They will be in the FAQ, and which will be posted in the support knowledge base, and then the Talk to Experts Tuesday section, which I showed you a little bit earlier. And a huge thank you to you guys, George, Sebastian, and Andrew, for joining me today. Our next session is Qlik Alerting on December 1st. So if you don't know much about Qlik Alerting, I hope you guys will join us for that. Or if you want to see it in action, anything like that, we hope you'll join, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks.